Good afternoon, everybody, or morning if you're a little behind me. Uh, Today we're going to talk about the Monster of the Week character sheet and setup and how you can most pleasantly and effectively play Monster of the Week on Roll20. This is a part of Roll20 Con, and a really cool initiative from the Roll20 community, and they are will be supporting the Code 2040 nonprofit. This is dedicated to helping bring young people, diverse young people, and otherwise disadvantaged to some of the tech jobs that we see developing in the future, and bringing our next generation into coding. So on the stream with me is Steve Nittner. You probably won't hear him much, but you will see him posting some links and some relevant information in the chat to help with when I mention things like that, such as the code for code 2040, so you can link there. And we're going to start this adventure, this trek through Monster of the Week, by looking at the character sheet proper and creating a game where this character sheet will be used. You will see, and then I will walk you through the very basics, and then I'll bring you into a module, one of the modules we've published for Monster of the Week. They're all structured the same way, and we'll show you how to use the various features, and hopefully also show you some of the cool stuff that's only in the modules that you have to purchase in order to use. But let's start with the character sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the process of creating a new game on Roll20. I will probably have a number of tips that are generic to Roll20 as well when creating a game, but we'll see what happens when you add the character sheet and everything you can do to set up your game and your player characters right. You'll see there's uh, our coders have done some pretty cool stuff. Jacob and and Fred have both been involved at different levels, and Fred made a just amazing tool for the GM, not just the players. So I'm going to go to my homepage, and you can see it's the Roll20, the excuse me, the Evil Hat homepage, and we're going to hit the big magenta button and create a new game. Do, 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 do. There we go. I'm going to call it our Monster of the Week Sunday Scare. I am slightly obsessive compulsive, so I will give it tags so I can find it again among the very, very many uh, games we have, as you might guess. There we go, and I'll give it the Roll20 Con tag. There we go. I don't need to add it to Roll20 Con, and I'm going to go select my character sheet rather than create a blank game. I'm going to search on Monster of the Week. For some reason, somehow, probably one of the updates we did, it duplicated the name. Not a problem. They should lead to the same, but just in case, I go to the one that says Evil Hat Production, all spelled out. It's something we'll make it disappear one of these weeks. And it gives you a little thumbnail of what a field character sheet might look like. I like it. I am ready. Create my game. And so if I had my players, I would drop a little picture here to make it pretty and then recognize it in the lot. Before I launch my game, I still have some settings I like to take care of, just because it's going to make the game more comfortable for me and my players. We have a standard. We found that using particularly in the game setting in particular, we found that using a page size that is 1920 by 1080, which is a pretty standard monitor resolution for a lot of computer monitors out there. This makes a page that looks good, and when we zoom in and out, it shows comfortably on the screen. I am not going to change anything to the default grid. These can all be changed individually per page that you set up in your game, but this is just my default. When I open a new one, here's the things I want. I also want to be able, by default, when I put a token down or a player puts a token down, I want everybody to be able to see everything about it. We probably won't have a whole lot of secret stuff. I do as GM, but our players share information in this sort of game. I'm going to save my default. And I'm going to go back to my launch page, and now I'm going to open it. And you'll see a blank page that should have the dimensions, the default dimensions I've given it. There we go. That's just a blank page. I'm going to switch up to another one that I've set up in advance. I'll show you why in a few minutes. It's exactly the same thing, except I've already added some material from a module. But for now, I'm going to show you the blank start page here. And I'm just going to show you how I would, since I'm pretending to set up a whole new game for you, I'm going to show you what I would do to make it pretty. So I would go through to the map and background layer, which is underneath. You can do this by clicking here in this toolbar, or you can use your keyboard and do Control M, and you can see it change the icon. It's now in the map background. Object and tokens is the one that the players have access to. This is all they get to interact with. They do see the map and background one. And of course, the GM info overlay is invisible to them. It's just for us GMs. So I'm on the map layer, and see, I said I was selecting an easy resolution. We have all that information, all that material that we can draw from. This is our library. I'm in the art library tab. This is the Roll20 library that Evil Hat has assembled. So far, you can see a lot of our games. But I'm going to go to Monster of the Week, I think. I put my backgrounds and sorted them. Okay, we have so much. Let me just go to a one on my desktop and drop it here so that it'll be faster to drop in. I had selected a nice big, oh, those are published module, a nice big background. Okay, I did this again. Recent, come on. I had selected a background that is a standard view. It's a screen background. There we go, Halloween, for our page here, and it will upload it. It should fit perfectly to the page I've set up at those dimensions. It would just be something that would make my page pretty for players when they start coming and want to just set up a game that will look nice from the get-go. Okay, see, it fits all the way to the corners. I'm going to also go and drop the resolution on my grid. I like having the grid to snap tokens and line things up, but I don't necessarily want people to see it. It's not necessarily pretty unless we're on a grid map. So I'm just going to drop my opacity to almost nothing. You may not see it at home. I see very faint squares there, so I know where it is, but I still got my picture looking good. And on most modern monitors, once I am at an 80% resolution, this will look pretty good on my page. It fits almost perfectly. Just a little overflow on the edges. I see my whole tabletop, so that makes a nice play area for my players. Maybe I'll drop a title and so forth. Now I'm going to go to the Documents tab. I'm going to hide everything that is in the module here, the Mystery Collection, because I want to show you when you do something completely new from scratch. But before that, I will also show you that I've put down a number of useful links here. Obviously you can't click on them from a stream, but I will make sure after the con that and those are made available, to use, so you can download them from maybe a post on our website or in the show notes. So I have links for Monster of the Week, some downloads you can get, some articles we've written on how best to use some of the features. We got some Roll20 useful links. The first two, the crash course and the tutorial, if you have not used them, even if you are experienced at Roll20, I highly, highly recommend that you try them because you're almost certain to learn or remember things you have forgotten and that are going to make your play experience better. And they also have documentations, both the new dynamic one and the older wiki one that is officially deprecated, but a lot of the information has not changed and is a little easier to navigate, in my opinion. And the keyboard shortcuts that, like the ones I use to change layers, and some offsite resources. The token stamp creator is really, really fun. You just need to choose your token border and drop a picture, and you can make a very pretty token, and you can save your settings so that you can make tokens that are identical every time you have a new NPC you want to add. It'll look like the others. It's pretty smooth, and some random generators, especially for names. I'm bad at names, so I go cheat and get something from a list. So I'm going to close this so it's not in your way right now. And I'm going to go back to my objects and token layers just so I don't mess up my background by forgetting. I can use Control O, um, or not. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't. I probably clicked on something else. Now I'm going to add a whole new character. And this is what we're really all about today. So uh, Roll20 gives it a random name. I'm going to accept the name I can't pronounce. And now we have a whole new little guide here. If you don't like reading, then you can skip and click around. It's not going to be that complicated, but I'm one of those people who actually do read the instructions. So it starts with giving you instructions on how to pick your playbook, what the playbooks are all about, and get this. This is the Monster of the Week playbooks, the ones that are found in Monster of the Week Revised, as published by Evil Hat. I keep confusing the two. But now look at that. You have a whole lot of other playbooks. You got the additional 4 that were in the supplement, the Tome of Mysteries. And look at all these third party and additional ones, and the playtest one, the Spooktacular. We just playtested this in our Monster of the Week game. Actually, it's Brianna's Monster of the Week. Brianna, shout out, great game. And even better, you get a blank shell, and you can make your own playbooks if you are so inclined. And this tab also has the reference for the various hunter moves. Let's hide them because we'll come back to those in a bit. But this here you will not see every time you open your character sheet. It's just the first time when you're selecting and you're making a whole new character. This is what you see. And so you can click on the playbook here to select which of those marvels you're going to use. I'm going to make a flake, I think. I think that it's going to be a little bit like Charlie in Supernatural, mixed with a little bit of Mulder and Lone Gunman. Yeah, I'm showing my age, I know. So, and so you can see you would have all those we've named, and the custom is right here above. And the keeper mystery sheet, we'll keep that for later. It's a secret. So, first, I am going to be looking at my starting stats here. So for each playbook, you're going to have different choice. If you look at your starting stats, choose you. You got usually it's 4 or 5 different options of stat combinations. You'll notice, typically they'll all have the same top stats, and then different things you're good in and less good at. So you see for a flake, for example, they're sharp flakes. So I think I want a flake that's not that weird, but is pretty charming and maybe not that tough. I'm cool though. So there we go. I'll take those stats. And now you can see that my charm is now 1, my cool is 1, my sharp is 2, and my tough is -1, and my weird is 0. So those stats have now been filled in for me. And I'm going to hide this. So you'll see this hide and show buttons everywhere so that you can really set up the sheet the way you're comfortable right now, not be visually distracted by things you're not using, but able to pull them when you need them. So what else does it show me? It shows me luck, and every playbook has a different luck move. In Monster of the Week Revised, only a couple had a special luck move. Then there was an addendum published to offer luck moves for every single playbook, and they were also added in the Tome of Mystery. So if you see something you don't recognize because you only have the base book, that's why. Um, and it tells you what you can do with luck. So here's your special move. Here's how the generic move. You can hide the instructions, but it's handy to have them. I'll leave them around. Allies and teams and history and notes we're going to get back to because we usually do that at the end of character creation. Harm tells you when you have a little bar after you've marked 3 points of harm. The 4th one you mark, you also start marking unstable because things are going to get worse for you very rapidly. By the way, some playbooks don't have this. They never become unstable, or they have a different number of harm boxes and so forth. This will all appear for you if and when you select that box. For example, in Brianna's game, I'm playing the constructed, which is one of those additional ones that are found here. I think Michael Sands, the author, is the one who released that on his own website. And it has more harm and it's never unstable. It's so much fun to play. So moves, the meat and potatoes. Again, you give all the instructions for how to make your character. It tells you pick 3 of these, and those are the basic ones. As you may recall, if you have played or read Monster of the Week before, usually it's a good idea to select the first one. You don't have to, but the one that's put first on any given playbook is the one that's a really good fit, and you want to consider adding that. I pretty much always add them. And then I'm going to pick 2 more. And if you read the stats, it's grayed out, so you probably don't see it very well on the screen, but I can read it just fine. And it tells me which benefits I get from each move, and based on the stats I picked, I think that probably having net friends, a lot of people I know on the internet that I can help, that I can get help from by rolling charm, and I gave myself a positive score in charm, so that works for me. And I think I'm going to also be really good at spotting when somebody lies to me. If somebody lies to me, I will know it. That's one of those automatic moves. So I got my three moves. So what I'm going to do now is click on hide unused. You could also hide all if you want to make space on your right now to look at something else on your character sheet. But I'm going to hide all the unused moves, and now you can see it's really tight. It's really a neat, clean character sheet where everything I see in this column right and now is something I need to in play. I'm gonna do the same for the third column. This is where I mark experience. I can hide the instructions. Maybe I do remember how to use experience, and I don't need a reminder. But I'm gonna leave it. Doesn't bother me right now. And it tells me I can pick one normal weapon among this list. I think a shotgun, three harm, close, messy, loud. You can't argue with that. And then I'm going to I have two hidden weapons I can have. I think a watchman's flashlight, one of those big uh, blunt weapon like flashlights is it looks innocuous, it's handy. And I like something to hit from a distance because I took -1 at tough, so I'm really not a hand-to-hand person. I'm going to add throwing knives. And there we go. I got my three items of gear, and I can hide all the unused. And now I have them right in front of me to remind me to use them. If I have other gear, I can, like maybe some secret amulet I found in play, I can put those in the little text box here. When it's time to do improvements, when I've got enough advancement points, enough experience, I have my walkthrough of what all I can get for that experience for the modest cost of 5 experience points. And but right now I'm not advancing, so I'm going to hide them all until I'm ready to advance. And finally, I was talking about history and moves and allies and teams. Some playbook come with allies and teams, make you make choices. So that would probably be open, and well, not probably, it would be open, and you would make some choices. But for now, I don't have anything to hide to add there. History and notes. This is where I'm going to look at some of the prompts. These are the prompts that come with my playbook to make connections with the other player characters. So they're just prompts. So whatever develops from there, whatever we work out, I'll write in the text box here. And then when that's done, I can hide the prompts because all I care about is what we really decided happens in games. So that's a quick and easy character. I got my character. It's made. It's done. That's wonderful. Goodbye, Eastlock. Now the GM, the MC, also has their own character sheet. So this is the exciting stuff for me because I like GMing. I created as a character because it's a bit of a hack on the uh, the structure of Roll20, but it's actually going to be, I'm going to choose the playbook Keeper's Mystery Sheet. And so I'm going to give it a name. Let's call it Halloween. Halloween what? Halloween Hallows. That's really trite, but that's what I could come up on the spur of the moment. And now I'm going to. Oh, I'm gonna reel back. Excuse me, MCs. I'm sorry. I'm coming back in 5 minutes. There's something I forgot to show you all players, and it's super helpful. I had alluded to it earlier, but you want to see this? It's the Hunter's Move reference. You have every move that all of the moves that are accessible to everybody in the every player in the game, And if you click, to open them, you can see the detail. But if you remember offhand, you just want to kick some ass. You don't care. You don't need to open it. You can just click, and it's going to uh, tell you your the default value is based on tough. You might have a move that gives you a way to base it on weird, for example, but default is going to offer you tough. And I say yes, it is based on tough. Did I take a +1 or -1 forward? Or do I have any modifiers that apply? I don't have any right now. I can submit this. It will appear in the chat window. There it is. Oh, I rolled a 5. Ow, something unpleasant's going to happen to me. In fact, I can check it all out. It tells me, make sure to mark experience. And here in the description of the move, it tells me what happens on a 10 plus, on a 7 plus. As you can guess, on a failure, it's only going to be harm to me, and nothing good will come out of it for me, except plot twists, which I love, but the player loves those, the character doesn't. So you also have the advanced version of the move. So if you take with advancements, you can get additional bonuses on a 12 plus. So maybe if I had rolled well, I would want to know what happens what else can I get for that wonderful roll. So the move reference is super helpful, and it includes moves such as the end of session move, when we figure out how much experience we get for this session, how to level up, a little more detail on luck, fairly similar to what's here in the character sheet, but it's handy. So if you want to have it all in one place, this is it. Uh, what happens when you get harm and how you can recover from it, and even your agenda. What are you supposed to be doing here uh, in Monster of the Week? So this is how you roll your moves, not just your playbook moves, which obviously are your the ones that are special to your type of character, but also all the basic moves are here, and you can roll everything from this little series of buttons. Another feature that I forgot to mention is you can see that's a share button under the various moves here. And they're useful so that you can show everybody what it is your move does. The GM may not remember off the top of their head everything that does. So maybe I want to have all the information here and figure out what to do now that I've got a 10. What does that mean? So that's what I forgot. I'm going to return to the MC sheet because the MC has similar features on their playbook, their Keeper's Mystery sheet. It has all the ones from the Hunter's playbook, but it also has the Keeper's reference. So you got your agenda and the principles, all the things that guide your decision, the basis for your decision, and some of the keeper moves you can make when you get to make a hard move. For example, the GM could get a hard move for my 5 here. So obviously they could inflict harm as established. That goes with the move, right? But it could go worse. It could trigger maybe putting me in other kinds of trouble, like being captured. What you get what the harm does, what in game terms does that mean? Does it means you take a -1 forward, it means you faint, and so forth. There's moves for the various types of harms and the various types of opponents. So for example, monsters, what can they do? So having all of these location, what can a location do in as an opponent. Yes, locations can kick your ass in Monster of the Week. So having those at the tip of my fingers is, I find that super useful as an MC. Obviously, you got the instructions on how to use all of this. It tells you how to build your mystery, which we're going to walk through right now. Check the time here so I don't go over. So I'm going to keep them open just so you can see if you squint real hard at the stream. So mystery concept. Uh, we're going to call it a dark romp through the pumpkin fields. I don't know. I'm not super creative. And I can't spell it either. The hook. Uh, Ginger has been captured. I think it's the orange color that made me think of Ginger. Clearly, she made it back to land after a few years. Um, and then I can have bullet points under that, or for example, I could have a hook for Denny, one of our PCs. And now that I've filled one, every time a new one will appear to offer me another option, uh, until I'm satisfied I've got something for all my players. So those are, reasons that my various players might get involved with this. Or it could be like by type of hook through greed or in curiosity, and rather than by player. Anyhow, however I want to set it up. So okay. So now I've got my mystery concept, my hook. Did I have anything else to fill? I think I got everything filled. Yes, yes. Okay. Now I want to add the parts of the mystery. So this being monster of the week, there are some things I know a mystery will have automatically. It will have a monster, obviously. It will have a clock, the sunset clock, right? And we'll go through this in a minute if you don't remember what that is. It will almost certainly have minions and bystanders and locations. Those are the various basic building blocks of a mystery. So let's start with, and they're all going to be under threat types. So that's what they're called. Technically, a text block is not a threat type, but it's useful to me. So here's my countdown clock. I'm going to start with that. And it tells me what's going on when we begin. It's daytime, unless you're using an advanced clock, a shorter clock, for example, for a convention game. Yes, conventions. I miss those. Maybe you're running something for Roll20 Con. You have 3 hours, and you want to be sure to put enough pressure on your players. Maybe you'll start in shadows or sunset, but usually day is everything is fine, and this is where your players start, and you'll describe what goes on here, um, and so forth, all the way to midnight, which is the big bad has won. You have a little space to write some notes. I'll show you in a few minutes, what this looks like once it's all set up. Um, right now my countdown is here, but it doesn't show anything because I didn't fill anything. But I'm gonna keep adding threats. So I know I'm going to have a monster. Uh, I'm going to use Jack Skellington since I'm on a pumpkin theme. There we go. I've got a description. What kind of villain is he? I'm gonna call him a trickster. So it automatically tells me what the motivation is for people who have played Monster of the Week. Hopefully, you recall that the various types of threats each have an agenda that makes it easier for the MC to figure out what does this creature want to go to do next. There's space to add powers, types of attacks such as claws and fangs and venom and so forth. Whether you have armor, the weaknesses of the monster. The monster has to have some weaknesses because that's the whole purpose of the game. It's structured around investigating the weaknesses of the monster so you can subdue it. Otherwise, it would just win. The harm capacity, how many boxes of damage do you have to do to it to put it down, and a space for some custom moves. And rather than fill them all by hand, I'm going to just show you some completed ones in a few moments. So I would have my monster. I would add some bystanders, uh, locations, possibly a phenomenon. Not every mystery has a phenomenon, but almost every mystery has monster, minion, bystander, and location threat types. And the text boxes for all the other things I can think of. I'll show you some examples in a minute. So rather than type this all in and make you wait as I type, this is not very exciting. What we've done is we've actually loaded the whole an entire mystery collections from our one of our modules, collection number 3. And why number 3? Because it has one I wrote, so I get to show it off. So I'm going to go through a very simple mystery. Actually, this is one that comes from the basic book. The It's not even shown as a standalone mystery in the book. It is the one that walks you through how to create a mystery, so it's very suitable for this. It's the haunted house story. And in this one, Michael Sands shows you how to create a mystery from the basic concept and some of the hooks he put in. Why does anybody care about the haunted house? Because the family just moved in, and there have been terrible things, and hopefully there's a reason for them to call on to your hunters. So you see, Michael had created a countdown here from when it begins. Marie the ghost, at the very beginning, it traps the family, the Hadleys in the house. That's how it begins, and that's when your hunters are called in to help solve this. And it goes through the things that Mary's going to do, from scaring and separating the family members and anybody else who is in the house. Um, Mark, the family father, when he is killed, either because it happens in play or the GM makes it happen to trigger the next level at sunset. Uh, then at dusk is the time when Mary tries to capture the wife and kids and force them to dig up her remains so she can be freed. Um, if you haven't done anything by then, if you don't finish this in a year, another family, if you get to nightfall, it's because she has killed the whole family. If you haven't stopped her by then, in another year, she will kill more people. And if you really drop the ball, in 5 years, she will kill yet more people. So this is, usually most games you don't get to experience nightfall at midnight, because that's when you really are on the losing end. I tell you, recently in another game we did get to nightfall. It was fun, it was dangerous. So our monster is Marie the ghost, and she has her agenda to punish the guilty. And Michael showed us how to put some powers in play and create some attacks. And he gave her a harm capacity of 7. So as GM, I would be able to count how much harm out of 7 I have taken as Marita Ghost. Um, some weaknesses here, what you need to know in order to be able to vanquish Marie, and some notes on what she wants and how to play her. Some minions. She can possess a rat swarm and they do disgusting things. And then some of the bystanders, the family here, and also the house, which is obviously a location, and the town in general is another location you might visit. So this is a simple mystery that has basic element. They're not complicated. They're familiar to us. They're a really good one to look at in the book to get familiar with how to build a mystery. And you can see that we're easily able to use the mystery sheet to recreate all those elements. And now, if I'm running that adventure as GM, notice that I grabbed this from the book. So I have everything I need to run. In that, just adding that character sheet to a Roll20 game. I have all the playbooks for my players. I have all the hunter move references for all the players and for me the MC. I have all my instructions as MC. What am I supposed to do in this game, and what are my tools? What do minions do, and so forth. I've got this is just the instruction to set up this sheet. I've got all my threats on one page. I can advance where we're at in danger. I can count how much danger how much damage or harm my various threats have taken and whether they're still in play. Everything in one document. I'm feeling pretty happy about this. I don't have to leaf through my big 3-ring binder. So that's for one that is a little more complicated, has more moving parts, um, because I don't do things unless I can overdo them. This is the mystery I had written. And in addition to the countdown, you can see it has there's the monsters, there's some minions, and we will see tons of bystanders because it's an investigative mystery. So there's lots of people with different agendas to talk to. So that was fun to create. There's several locations to visit. Um, and I was talking about the text box and what do you do with that? Um, Actually, I cheated. I used a phenomenon box because let's walk through adding some. Um, when you add different types of threads, they have different elements that match what is discussed in the book. Of course, what are the basic element of that particular thread. So if I show the edits for those various types, the countdown had days, the slices of day that you can follow, and the monster had a lot of elements. You can add powers, attacks, armor, and so forth. If I add a location, the location will have different boxes to it. Now it has a name, a description, a motivation, and some moves, but it doesn't have a harm value. Typically, locations don't take harm. It would be possible, but it's not how the regular location is built. Similarly, if I wanted to add a bystander in fact can take harms. Not everybody does, but you may want to be able to track harm to them, and they may have custom moves, but they're much simpler. You can see they typically won't have armor, for example. They won't have powers. Um, if I take a text block, which is my fill-in, well, it's very useful to me for a lot of things. but it only has name, description, and notes. So it's something that it's additional information. It's not something that counts as a threat typically. I cheated here. I had a lot of notes I wanted to put in. I have um, in my own mystery. Not let's get out of the example and look at it here. Um, you can see I had tons of stuff. I had some the descriptions of what's going on, what's the background, and what's the information you can find. For various types of places you investigate, I had what you get, what clues you get on a basic success or an advanced success. Um, I had some notes on the setting. I think in some place I have a link to uh, offsite references. So I cheated. I used the phenomenon box because it had the moves I needed, whereas the text box doesn't have move. So that was just for display. But you see that even though it was non-standard, and I had a ton of things to pack, the character sheet still handles it. The mystery keeper sheet in this case. So that's what you can do with your own mystery, or taking one from a published reference without anything but creating a game and adding linking it to this character sheet. Now I want to show you in addition some of the features that we provide when you get one of our modules, like this mystery collection number 3. Actually, this is the starting page you get, and it provides you with sample characters. Um, let's open them here. Let's see if I can scroll down, because I think it's going to be hard to see in your view in the stream. But we have sample hunters from the Crit Show and from Agents of Sisra, which were both, which was on the actual play, like this stream, and Crit Show on the Crit Show podcast. And you can see we made them available. We gave them little tokens. There's their character sheet. So if you don't have time and you just want to pick up game, you don't have time to make characters, you can grab those and go. Additional tools we gave you for this. I'm going to jump first to we got relationship maps you can use between your characters for 3, 4, and 5 hunters. I'll tell you, at 6 hunters, I think it's a little too complicated. We went into the zone we thought was convenient, where it was good to play, at least on a tabletop. So, for example, these are the relationships they created during character creation, so that you know what links they have with one another. You can see it visually. In our Monster of the Week game, we use that. We really like it. Uh, Another set of tools you have, those are for the keeper only, and we give you all the instructions on how to use them. But we have the incredibly fun multi-sided tokens you can create in Roll20 using what they call their rollable table uh, tool. By the way, I'm going to be gone in a few moments because I'm going to go demonstrate this directly in a Monster of the Week game on Roll20. You can stay online if you want to keep watching what we're doing on the screen here, or if there are still spots. There were some when the stream was beginning here. You can listen to the 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 resulting character creation and playing with tokens on Roll20. Uh, and hold on, I think I have. I need my chat window. Okay. Yes, good. Look at that. I got the 2 minutes to wrap up note. So yeah, so there's a whole lot more things you can do. I'm gonna go show you. I'm gonna show you real quick the clocks. I was saying you start at the day clock. When you advance, the GM can click on those and choose a side, and they will advance. So from day now, we're into shadows, and we can move to dusk. No, it was sunset first. There we go, and it'll move through the phases so that your players can see visually, like, oh, the clock is advancing. We have token markers that you add to your game. You have to add them, but we have the instructions on how to do that, and we have a whole blog post on how to do that. That is linked in the links I was showing earlier, where you can take a token and I forgot to add the token markers. I will do that in between. So that's what my 2 minutes is going to be spent doing, so that you can see whether you have a +1 forward. It'll show here on the token. So I'm gonna take my bow and get out of here so we can move to the platform on Roll20. Um, the Zoom call will continue, so it'll be muted for a little bit, and then I'm going to reappear. The actual play stream, I think, moves to something else. But if you want to join us in a Zoom call or directly on Roll20, the link should be in the chat, and you will be able to see this and play with it yourself. And I'll get to show you some of the cool GM features I missed because I took too much time. I am very glad that you listened to us nonetheless. I hope you are enjoying Roll20 Con, and I hope you will have your own exciting adventures with Monster of the Week, creating your own mysteries or using some of the ones we've published, and have some beautiful, terrible adventures. Everybody, have a great day, a great time, and we'll see you on another stream.